All right, what's it, everybody? What's going on? Back on here today. We're going to hop on here and do another Facebook Live. We've got a very, very, very exciting topic to talk about today. How to stay motivated in recovery and keep the fire alive to continue helping others. Myself personally, I've been in the helping professional now. I feel like for most of my life, probably 7 or 8 years, and it's a constant battle to keep the flame alive. We got a couple special guests on today. We got Kyle, who we actually go back to high school, and JJ. Kyle, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you do.
Thanks for having me, man. So I'm from New Carlisle, just right down the road from here. Long story short, recovered alcoholic and cocaine addict.
How long you been sober?
About 2 years now.
2 years sober, man. Good stuff.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Yep.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Me too. Good deal. 2 years sober, 31 years old, man. Did you ever think that'd be possible?
For a long time, no.
Didn't think it was gonna happen?
No. Yeah, it was a long fought battle. But
Lots of ups and downs, I would imagine, huh?
lots of ups and downs. Yeah.
Good deal,
I
man.
don't know how much of my story you want to.
Oh, we're gonna get into it.
We're
We're gonna dig into it. So, JJ, tell us a little bit about yourself and what keeps you motivated just for today.
Honestly, what keeps me motivated is the fact that I'm able to help somebody out. I mean, I live my life, basically killing lives. So now being able to give back to lives is what puts down, that guilty conscience I got.
Yeah,
so
man.
I know when I've been able to serve somebody, it keeps that fire blazing. So really, a lot of people, they pick up this profession for a job. First off, it's the wrong job because it don't pay you enough.
Right.
But if it's your passion, if it's your life, if it what gets you up every morning and drives you, I mean, this is me doing life. This isn't just something I do for a job.
Yeah,
So
man. Yeah.
it's what keeps me moving.
So, like, I can remember early on in my professional journey in my career, I would struggle with like pouring everything I have, like on the job, like going in there and just giving everything I can, to the point where at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock, when you clock out and go home, you're just like, oh my God, I'm done. I felt like that today, right? I felt so burnt today. And I just came home and sat on the couch, man. It took me a little nap. You know what I'm saying? I had to get my mind right. And I know that's a sign for me I'm doing too much, right? So, Kyle, what's some things in your life that you do, right, for yourself personally at 2 years sober, 31 years old, to keep this flame alive for your recovery? What do you do?
So I'm a CDCA, so I'm a counselor and lead groups, and I feel you on the fatigue. When I first started the job, it was like I would go home like 6, 7 o'clock at night and just crash.
Just go straight to sleep till 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wake up the next day. But I loved it.
Living that no-kid life, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But I loved it. And what I say about my job right now is that, like, it's by far the most fulfilling thing I've ever done, helping people. But I feel like I'm carrying the heaviest burden, too.
Right.
But, like, that's a good analogy for life if you think about it. Like, I feel like the more struggle you have and you overcome that struggle, like, the more fulfilled you are.
Yep.
And, like, I think that a lot of people don't have enough responsibility in their life, and it leads to a lot of boredom. And that boredom, idle hands are the devil's toy.
Absolutely, man.
So
So you work 40 hours a week?
Yep.
So that's a good portion of your life.
Yeah.
Right? So outside of work and outside of the job, like, what are some things that you do personally to keep you motivated, to keep this fire alive, and to keep wanting to go back in and keep serving others? Like, what does Kyle do to help Kyle?
Okay. So part of that is just really taking care of yourself. So I work out 5 days a week, try to at least. I do a lot of meditation stuff, a lot of mindfulness stuff to help, like, I don't know, it's weird. Meditation and mindfulness is, like, I feel like the glue that kind of keeps this all together in a weird way.
Man. Absolutely.
But on top of that, like, what I teach my guys in group is that I got 3 rules that I have. Tell the truth all the time.
All the time.
It's the most important thing. It's like the most important thing in the world. Just that alone will change your life. And then I talk about sacrifices. So short-term sacrifices for long-term contentment. That's
Absolutely.
what I say to my guys. It's like you have to endure some things in the present moment in order to have a better future for yourself. We live in a society where it's like short-term pleasure, short-term pleasure, short-term pleasure. It's not sustainable. You can't live pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. It has to be sacrifice, and then the joy will come later.
Absolutely.
But the third thing, and this is the thing I say, like keeps people sober, is goals.
Absolutely.
You
My
have
favorite word in recovery, goals.
You have to have goals.
Absolutely.
Like you have to have something that you are aiming for and going after.
I agree 100%.
And like I tell my guys all the time, it's like we're not in here to get sober. Like we're in here to create a life that's valuable. You have to have a valuable life, or else what else are you gonna do with it?
So it sounds like a lot of what keeps you on fire is helping other people stay on fire. Am
For
I
sure.
right? Good deal.
I mean, I have my own goals too, but like that's what you'll find. I mean, it says in the big book, you can't to keep it, you got to give it away.
Absolutely, bro. I
And
agree
it's so
100%.
true.
Absolutely.
Like the joy you get from helping other people is
JJ, what keeps you on fire? What does JJ do personally to help JJ?
I mean, honestly, helping people. Helping people is my fire.
Okay.
You know, honestly, because like when I sold dope, when somebody called me, I don't care what time it was in the middle of the night.
Up and at
I
it.
was up and at it. I served the almighty dollar. You know, so now, you know what I'm saying, I guess my passion and my desire comes from when somebody calls me, I use hope the same way.
Yeah, man.
You know, dope was 24/7, so hope's got to be 24/7. And I guess what helps me is the fact when I see somebody that doesn't have anybody that believes in them and I'm able to believe in them, it tells me that, you know what I'm saying, I'm the one that's on a team. Because when I was out with nothing, when I had nobody to believe in me, the system gave up on me, family gave up on me, friends gave up on me. It was that person that came in my life that even them, I was skeptical and thought that they would give up on me. But because they didn't give up on me, it's what brought me to the place I am. That's why I'm always pushing that support. If you ain't got no support, you ain't gonna make it. Like, you got to have support. I gotta have somebody to lean on when I can't lean myself. You know what I'm saying? I gotta have somebody to call on when I can't call on it for myself. So just to be able to have that gets me going every day. I work out, I hit the heavy bag, you know, I do all these things, but that's more of a redundant type of life. But nothing gives me joy like when I see somebody that's able to get the help that they need, and they wake up and they give me a hug and say, man, thank you for not quitting.
So here's one thing I struggle with personally. And, you know, I know, Kyle, are you not married, are you?
No.
You in a relationship?
Yeah, maybe.
He's committed. You hear that? No kids?
No kids.
And JJ, you're married.
Married with 5 kids.
5 kids. And I'm married with 2 kids, right? So my big struggle is give. And then when I get home, I'm done. Like, sometimes I just feel so tapped out, you know what I'm saying? Where it's hard to keep the fire alive and make sure that I'm spending good time with the family, make sure that I'm spending good time with the kids, make sure that I'm continuing to work on things for myself, you know? So JJ, how do you balance like work, helping others, family, kids, all this stuff? Give me some tips, bro.
The awesome wife.
The awesome wife.
Listen,
I agree.
I wouldn't be half the man I am if I didn't have the wife that I got.
I 100%.
You know, my
agree.
wife picks up where I'm not able to pick up, and she understands it because she came out of a struggle too. I actually became a support to her, so she understands the importance of what support is. So, you know, my wife, if I could give an analogy and give them anything, it's just like how Abraham laid his son on the altar. My wife lays me on the altar all the time and allows me to go out there and do the things that I do because she believes that it could help somebody. So the key is the wife. The key is the wife. I'm nothing. It's the wife.
The in-house support 24/7.
Right, it's the wife, man.
Good deal.
It's
I
the
know my
wife.
wife. She watches the babies and
Right.
keeps the house. I mean, every single
Right.
day, just on it.
Right.
You know, I'm not 100% every single day, but when you're the stay-at-home mom and you got these babies to take care of and everything's going, like, there is no days off.
It's the
You know
wife.
what I'm saying? So they hold it down. That's
It's
for sure.
the wife.
I look up to you guys for that, man, because I feel like I got it easy with no kids, but
It's the
I
wife.
mean,
There's a
it's-
season for everything, bro.
Yep.
Yep.
There's a
yep,
season
yep.
for everything. Enjoy where you're at right now.
That's
Enjoy it.
That's funny. That's what
So let me ask you this, Kyle. So you're 2 years sober, right? In the field, helping people, right? Who are you looking up to right now? Like, who do you reach out to? Who do you seek advice from? Who's kind of mentoring you? Who are you getting your juice from right now?
Okay, so I have a sponsor, and he's an older gentleman, and it's funny, like the people that I look up to in different ways. Like my sponsor is an older guy, and he's just full of joy.
Right.
Like, this man is just 30 years clean. Like, he's one of the funniest people I've ever met. Like, he's hilarious, but at the same time, he's got a bunch of wisdom that he gives me, and I look up to him. It's like that kind of serenity that he has is something that like I love. I love every interaction with him.
Is there anybody on the job that has that level of serenity
that I work with now?
Yeah, or that you have worked with?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of hustle and bustle. So
different world, isn't it?
There are some guys, like, it's funny, man. The people that have some significant amount of sober time, it's like they have something. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's what I tell my guys in group all the time. It's like, you won't meet somebody that doesn't have 10 years sober that isn't just thriving and like isn't just like full of joy. And
yeah,
like,
man.
And every single one of them will tell you it's the best thing that I've ever done.
Yep.
And so like I get a lot of encouragement from him, and then I also go to a counselor. Yep. So I go to a counselor once a week, and it's just somebody that I can, just bounce off the crazy ideas in my head and get like a direct one-on-one with him and let me know like. But
more people need to tap into that.
Yeah, so I look up to my counselor as a mentor. It's like he's somebody that is in the profession also, but like higher up. And as far as my goals go, that's what I would like to do, something with that someday. So it's like he's a good professional mentor. And then I watch a lot of Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you know who that is on YouTube. Like there's a lot of great people that are on YouTube that I get a lot of inspiration from. That's where I get my juice from most of the time. Yeah, so
good deal, bro. JJ, what about you? Who are you looking up to right now? What keeps you? Where do you pull your juice from? Like what's pouring into you?
Look, I would say my spirituality.
Yep.
The greatest example I had. So I mean, I look to that, man. I look to the script, man. I do my prayers, and really, I know apart from myself, you know what I'm saying, I'm nothing. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just having that level of spirituality, something I never had, something that's greater than me. Because I know my thoughts. I know the things that I think and the way that I feel about things. But when I'm able to enter into some times of meditation, I can find out how silly I really sound. Like this one day, man, I got up, you know what I'm saying? Just got this award. They was telling me, this great thing. I woke up late the next day. I've never woke up late. But that's how it always works, man. Right when things are working right, something bad comes in. So I woke up late, man. I started acting like a little kid. We just moved in the house. I'm telling my wife, like, man, I hate this house. I can't stand this house. I'm not paying rent. Like acting like a child. You see what I'm saying? Yep. But I was able to go throughout the day, and you know what I'm saying, through my meditation, I was like, man, I act like a big kid.
Yeah, man.
And I came back to my wife and I was like, I'm sorry for acting like that. She's like, yeah, you was acting like a little kid. I was like, I know. But I'm able to laugh about that stuff today. I remember one time when I rode up to Myers, I have a Buick, didn't have two hubcaps. It's something that when I was out there in the streets, I didn't have to worry about. So it's constantly going to be a battle, but it's not as strong as it used to be. You see what I'm saying? So I ride up to Myers, don't have no hubcaps, and on both sides of me are Buicks parked. They both have hubcaps. I'm like, I can snatch a hubcap out of here. Right, I can snatch the hubcap out of here, right? Got a pocket full of money, but the thought's still in my mind. Yeah. But I was able to walk into Myers and laugh about it and see how silly I really am. But the thoughts are still going to be there. Yeah, but to be able to have the level of understanding today, I'm able to take that thought captive and yank it down and say, nah, man, that's not who I am. Yep. It ain't going to stop the thoughts. No matter where you at in life, you're not going to stop the thoughts because we've done embraced this thing. This is our way of thinking. Mm-hmm. This is how we move every day. Mm-hmm. But the action that I do is something I got control of. So today I can say, it's my actions.
Absolutely, bro. 100% agree,
you
man.
You said so much right there, man. That was great. That was great because the struggles are always going to be there and the thoughts are always going to be there. But the more that you make it through the struggle and do the right thing and come out the other side without self-destructing, the stronger you get. Over and over and over again.
You think it'd get easier over time, though. You know what I'm saying? It's still, like you said, it still comes
still
up.
A thought.
Oh, yeah. The thoughts, we can't
can
control
grab it. It's easier to grab, huh?
The thoughts come and go, but yeah, you give certain thoughts power and other thoughts no power.
It's like wrestling against the same guy all the time. You find out, I got to go ahead and shoot after him, get him in the gator roll, and then I could put him in a half Nelson.
That's a great
But the
analogy.
first time you wrestle, you know what I'm saying, he gets you all folded up. So you just got to learn to fight.
Absolutely,
You're
bro.
right.
I agree. So one thing that, and I thought about this going into this because I thought, I knew I had a couple questions I knew I wanted to ask you guys and a couple things I wanted to share about my own personal experience because I've been through the ups and the downs with keeping the fire alive. You know what I'm saying? You're always going to have good times. You're always going to have bad times. You know what I'm saying? Life comes at you in cycles, and it's like so many things can happen, in this profession that we're in this field. But one thing I've always been really big on is the personal development. You know what I'm saying? And that's setting my own goals, looking up to people, like you said with YouTube, man. Like I've had so many seeds planted in me from people I've never even met before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And read books of people I'll never even meet, and just got so many different. I've got this weird approach to life and recovery. You know, in the beginning, when I had a couple years clean, or you know what I'm saying, I went through the school grind for a long time, and then went through that. I'm still kind of in it, that real selfish phase. Like, I just want to do everything for me and stuff like that. I mean, we go through that kind of stuff, you know? And then to be in this spot so long and to look back and see all the lives you've impacted along the way, right? And it's not even really about them. It's about their kids and their neighbors and their families, right? And the people that's going to look up to them forever. And just thinking about the person that you met when you first start working with somebody, and seeing that big change. And I know we can't name drop folks on, break anybody's confidence yet. You know what I'm saying? Say anything like that. But like, that's the thing, man, that really keeps me on fire today is knowing that change is possible, that it's not only happened in my life, but I've seen it happen in others. That way, when you meet some dude and he's knocking on your door at 6 o'clock in the morning or trying to get a ride, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. Like, we got to keep reminding ourselves, man, like, even that dude can get clean. Yeah. Even that dude can stay clean.
I heard a cool thing the other day in one of those YouTube videos. It was like, if throughout the course of your life, you'll meet about 1,000 people, probably more, probably less. For guys like us, we'll probably meet way more than 1,000. But you meet 1,000 people. Let's say you meet 1,000. Those 1,000 people meet 1,000 people.
Yeah.
You're one person away from 1 million people and 2 people away from 1 billion people. So like,
that's crazy.
If you impact someone of those 1,000, and they impact somebody, and that grow, like, it's spreading good in the world.
Yep.
Like, it really is. And like, and that's cool and all, but like the coolest part is watching somebody like that has never had any encouragement before, that's never had anybody told them that they were worth anything, and like that conversation and seeing like they're in their eyes, like, I can do this.
Yeah,
I am better than what I thought I was.
Absolutely.
Like, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. And like, for everyone that's like trying to get sober right now, like, this disease is a selfish disease. It is, how can I make myself feel better right now? Mm-hmm. And when you take that focus off of yourself and you start doing stuff for other people, it's amazing.
It's the game changer right there.
Yeah, and what I tell people is like, it's like, when you're in early recovery and you don't have a lot going on, one thing I used to do was like, think of one person that I could do something nice for today. Mm-hmm. One person I care about, and it's like, what can I do for them today that would make them happy?
Who was that person for you?
Just family members, like my mom or dad or my sister, and do like one good deed. And like, it's cool. They like it, you like it, like, but when we get so wrapped up into this disease that it's like you forget about the joy that you can get from other people. Like, the thing is, you can't make yourself happy. Like, all happiness comes through serving other people or doing things for other people. Happiness comes from interactions. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's cool, man.
So Kyle, you're 31, 2 years sober, right? So that means from 29 and past, there might have been some struggles there, right?
For sure.
So, and to tie into that, so me and Kyle went to high school together, and I don't have a whole lot of friendships from high school, mainly because I was hooked on drugs in there in my high school years and
You're
dropped
a lot different
out.
now than you were in high school. I remember that.
So like, and I remember growing up and playing ball and stuff like that, and I've shared that some of my family struggled with addiction, and it kind of trickled down the tree a little bit, what I'm saying, and like so I busted a major left before I even got out of high school and stayed on that path for like until I was 22. So, and I know for you you're what, 18 when you graduated in 2006, right? So from 18 to 29, I know it's a long time. We could talk a lot about that, but give me the snapshot of like, what was life like for you from 18 to 29? How'd you start drinking? How'd you get hooked? did you try to stop? Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I went to Wittenberg right down the road.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I didn't start drinking until I was 18, and it just started off as something that was fun. Okay. And I come from a family of drinking Catholics, life of the party type people. Right. And that was just part of life. It was
that fits you well.
Partying, carrying on, having a good time. So that's who I thought I was for a long time, like the party guy, the life of the party. After a few years, it starts to get where it's not a party anymore, and it starts to turn into something that you find that you don't have any control over. There was like a 4-year period where I knew there was a problem, my family knew there was a problem, my friends knew there was a problem, and I was actively trying to quit drinking.
Okay. How old were you then?
Probably like 26.
And you knew there was a problem then?
Yep.
Okay.
It was too much. So I would try to quit and I'd get like a month, and then I would relapse, and then I would get like 3 months, and then I would relapse, and I got like 8 months one time. No meetings or anything. Relapse.
Sheer willpower, huh?
Just willpower, just gritting it. And I couldn't figure it out. It was baffling. Like I would relapse, and I would go, okay, I relapsed because I did this, this, and this. So if I just do this, this, and this, then I'm good.
Right.
And then another thing would come along, and I would relapse. So I got into some trouble, and I went to jail for 3 days. But I was on probation, violated probation, was looking at least 6 months hanging over my head. But then the new charge I got was like 2 to 8 years. Mm-hmm. So I'm laying in jail thinking, this is it.
I'm going to prison.
I'm going to prison. I'm going to be in here for 5 years. And I don't know if you know this about jail, but they put you in a cage. Like, it's a cage. And I never thought I would go to jail before. So it was like, this is the worst thing I've ever experienced.
Scared straight,
This is the worst thing I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
We won't go into that, but it was enough to when I got out, I was like, just tell me what to do and I will do it.
Yeah, man.
And there was like a 6-month period where I was waiting on my court date to come up, and I just had to do the right thing. I was done trying to do it my own way. I just had to follow instructions. If you tell me to do this, I'll do that.
Yep.
And what started to happen in that 6-month period was good things started to happen.
Yep.
Blessings.
So let me ask you this. So what was different, like you just said, at that 6-month period, right? Mm-hmm. But you said you had 8 months sober before that. Right. So what was the difference between that 6 months and that 8 months? Was it knowing you didn't want to go to jail, knowing you didn't want to go to prison, knowing you were tired of all that? Like what changed?
It was surrender. So it was like, that's a buzzword that the recovery community uses a lot, but surrender is giving up your pride and your ego and your intellect for a time and just following instructions from someone who's trying to help you. Mm-hmm. And that to me was like, I always thought I could outsmart everyone until it ran out. Yeah. And then it was like, okay, I'm just going to listen. And that's the one thing that I see with the people I work with. It's like, yeah, I'll listen to that, but I'm not going to listen to this. Mm-hmm. And it's like, man, and it's an ego thing, especially with men. It's like, you don't know everything, but it's like, the thing you got to get over is you have to listen to someone. You have to listen to people who are trying to help you all the time. Right. That's just a good rule to follow in life. But that was a big thing for me, where it was like, okay, I'm done. Right. Hands up.
So let me ask you this. Now, I don't know you or your upbringing or anything that well, but I know you come from a good family.
Yeah.
Right. You come from probably a line of well-respected people throughout your life and your family tree history. Mm-hmm. When you were going through these struggles with alcohol, how did they try to help you? What worked? What didn't work? What do you know now that you wish you would have known at 26?
Man, this is a hard one to talk about because my family was always there for me.
Probably done everything they could.
Always there for me. And that was when I was laying in jail, it was like, I just let these people down. That heartbreak that I felt was like, I'll never forget that. But a couple of things that they could have done different. I'm a firm believer today in tough love.
Yeah, man.
And it's now that I know the things I know about relationships, codependency, when you're trying to help someone, it's the hardest thing to do to let them go. Yep. And cut them off. But there's a point in time where it's necessary.
That's a good point.
It's going to be hard for you. It's going to be hard for them, but it has to happen. And it doesn't mean you don't love them. It actually means you love them for real. Mm-hmm. Because no matter what you do to help somebody, they have to go through. I mean, they say you got to hit bottom. Mm-hmm. But you have to reach a point, or you have to let them reach a point where they realize that they need to change. If you keep giving people things that need to change, they're just going to learn that, well, I always got this to fall back on.
Yep, man.
And then the cycle will continue and continue and continue. So that's a hard piece of advice.
So
to give,
I've
but
watched people struggle with this and family members as well, because there's, families are usually one extreme or the other. Oh, there's nothing I can do to help you. I'm not even going to try. Or I'll do anything. You're my baby. I'll save you. I can do any, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you need, I got you. You need a car, I got you. You need a place to live, I got you. You need me to pick you up 2 o'clock in the morning, I got you. To the point where people don't experience those consequences, that feeling of like, man, I'm fine. Like I'm on my own, right? I've dug myself in this hole that I can't get out of. At least we think we can't get out of, right? Yeah. So I agree, man. I just, and I know that's a topic that a lot of people struggle with for a long time. And did you and your family struggle with that for a while?
For sure. It's hard. It's counterintuitive to being a loving parent. It's like, I'm going to do everything I can to help, but a lot of times the best thing you can do is just cut the cord.
They proud of you today?
Yeah. Yeah, they are. It's
good
cool
stuff, isn't it?
It's cool. Yeah. Like, one of the coolest things about sobriety is earning people's trust back.
Yep.
And like, for the longest time, I didn't really realize it, but nobody believed a word I said.
Yep.
And now, like, that telling the truth thing, man, if you do that for a while and people, you start earning people's trust back, it's amazing. Yep. For like my mom, it was like she was proud right away, like had the trust back. For my dad, man, it was a long process.
Took some time, huh?
Yeah, he was like,
Usually
how about you show me?
Yeah. Seen it before, boy. You got to show me this time.
Yep.
Yep.
But it's good.
JJ, so you've probably worked with a lot of individuals and families and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're, let's say we're talking to a family member, right, and they're struggling with trying to help their loved one, their kid, their, whoever, to get on this path and stay on this path, what would you suggest to a family member that loves their child or their grandchild or their loved one unconditionally and they're willing to do anything and sacrifice everything to help them? What would you say to that person?
I mean, basically, when it comes to a parent, comes to a family or a friend, I mean, really how I operate is I don't say nothing if it ain't nothing for me to say. Okay. I don't have cliche words because I think that sometimes, you saying things are cliche. Sometimes it's just a presence. Mm-hmm. I think just being a presence in a room is enough. It's just like if you go talk to a counselor, does the counselor sit back and tell you everything, or the counselor lets you talk and then you start figuring things out? I more utilize the presence. I like to just be there in the room, letting them know that I love and care for them too, but I'm not utilizing my resources the way you're utilizing your resources. So it's almost like that lead by example. I think that there's too many words going on. In this generation, there's so many words going on that people are filled up with words, but not everybody's filled up with action. Yep. So I'm more of a presence and an action type of a person.
100% agree.
That's great, man.
Good stuff, man. So let's see what our topic was. How to stay motivated in recovery. We definitely hit on that, and keep their fire alive to continue helping others. Good stuff. So Kyle, let me ask you this. What's been the biggest struggle you've had since you've been in recovery these past 2 years?
There's a lot. I mean, learning how to just feel stuff, learning how to just some days are gonna be bad days, and you just have to keep going and not self-destruct. There's been it's a rebuilding process. So I started from the ground up this time. So getting finances back in order. Yep. Luckily, there hasn't been like any big thing. I'd say in the beginning, there was a lot of like just boredom and kind of like just kind of mad about my situation, mad at myself for being here. I remember like in early recovery, it'd be like a Friday, Saturday night. It'd be nice outside. It'd be like, wow,
everybody's out kicking it, partying,
fun except for
everybody's on Facebook drinking.
Right,
everybody's having a good time.
So that separates the men from the boys. If you can make it through nights like that, where you have that pool to go out and when you're feeling sorry for yourself, but like, there's a lot of this program that is just like, just do the right thing.
Absolutely,
just do the right thing. And I remember when I got out of jail. It's funny you said there's so many words. and not enough actions. When I got out of jail, I went and talked to my sponsor, and I had this story of like why I because I was drinking, and that's what led me to go to jail at the time. And I had this big story ready about, you know, why I relapsed and what I was going to learn from it, and this how it was going to be different this time. And I'm like halfway through that story, and my sponsor's like, "Hey, just shut up." He's like, "I don't believe a word you say. Just start doing stuff."
Yeah.
And I was like,
action.
Like, and it was, I've been sober since that day.
Good deal.
So like one of the things I practice is like under promise and over deliver, and just do the right thing. And like, there's going to be hard days. There's always hard days. Life's hard. Life's really hard.
Yes,
but
it is.
when you don't self-destruct and you go through the hard times, you get stronger. Life doesn't get easier. You just get stronger. So
that's the hit, my man, right there. So, Kyle, I want to thank you for your time, my man. It was cool. Like, so me and Kyle connected about, what was that, been about a month or two ago?
Yeah.
Maybe a couple months ago. And because here's the thing, like from the area we come from and where we grew up at, like I've seen a lot of people try to get clean. I've had family members try to reach out, try to help us. And look, here's the thing, like even of all the bridges I've burned, I will do anything I can to help somebody stay clean, right? Without a doubt, 100%. But at the same time, I'm very reluctant and hesitant to reach out and start building relationship, folks, mainly because I know most people are full of crap, right? Most people are just like me who haven't really hit that bottom yet, you know. Right. And I'm a firm believer in being an example of what the change I'd like to see in other people, or being the example of what I think right or what I think is right. And when we sat down and talked that day, I left and I said, that dude's got a good head on his shoulders. He's gonna make it. He's gonna do stuff.
Thanks,
so,
man.
The coolest part about your story, bro, is you're just getting started, right? So many good things are going to happen in your life, man. It's going to be, like the literature says, beyond our wildest dreams.
I can't wait, man.
It's good stuff, bro. So I'm excited to watch you grow. I want to thank you again for your time. You already know if there's ever anything I can do to help, you know how to get a hold of me. JJ, I appreciate your time, my man. Yeah, so we're going to wrap this up, and JJ's going to hop on his page, and he's going to spit a couple flows. So if you're friends with JJ, go over and hop on his page because he's about to turn up for y'all. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. I got a couple ideas of a guest I'm going to have next week. Nothing set in stone yet. But like always, if you want to reach out and you think you want to come up here and talk with us and talk about your experience, your story, and creative ways to help others, send me a message. I'd love to brainstorm and bring you on. So I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night.